times of this pandemic, we are here, it's going to change people's lives. And I am sure, like, once, things return to where we can see each other again, and life's never going to be the same. We've said that before. We sort of had to relinquish control, which we never really had in the first place. But what if you wanted to just indulge us, spitball some ideas on titles? If somebody were to write, something about this pandemic we went through.
Yes, well, oh gosh, titles. I mean, you can be funny. You could be funny and do something like Housebound or something, right. Or you can, you could be sort of more serious. I mean, I think that it depends on your personality and on your take on life. So if you are more serious and want to talk about the sort of the challenges that we face and the important things we need to acknowledge, then yes, you would maybe call it something like challenging times, or is this the way of is this our future or something. But yeah, if you are sort of more humorous about things, you might go with the the mime sort of stuck, getting unstuck, or housebound, or something like that. If these walls could talk or something.
Right. And I just thought of one, if somebody is listening and they want to do this, it's cooking in COVID, if they can tell us, because I read somewhere that sourdough recipes have skyrocketed. That's like one of the biggest trends. So I'm like, please tell me how to cook a chicken 7 ways, right? Or 20 ways.
Brilliant. Yes. And so maybe the sourdough was big in Canada. It was the banana bread here. I don't know if you do banana bread, but here it was all about everyone's in COVID and everyone's cooking banana bread.
So that sounds more delicious, to be honest.
It is great. I don't know if you have it there. It's wonderful. You get when the bananas get too far gone, and then you turn it into a bread and lots of butter. It's very, very nice.
I have to say, unfortunately, the Canadian climate is not conducive to growing bananas. So by the time you get the bananas, it's like avocados. You have about 15 minutes before it turns. So, yes.
Oh, goodness me. Yes, of course. Not the tropical. Yeah. Right.
The sourdough it is.
Yeah. The sourdough life, how to not be sour and make sourdough, because in COVID you could have a sour feeling about life. So make some sourdough instead. So, look, there's many things that you could do during a pandemic. So just, again, getting creative, bouncing around ideas like we are, get creative. Think about whether you're serious or funny. And titles are always one of the hardest things people battle with, and they're also not copyright. So therefore, if someone else has your title that you want, you can actually call it that. If you go on Amazon, you can call your book. It's not copyright. Yeah. So
I had no idea. Oh, that's interesting. And that's international law. So if I want to call my book The Secret, it will be fine?
Yes. Yeah. I know, it's weird. It's weird. And that's why quite a lot of books, there are books out there where you think, oh, that's a great title. You look it up and there are several books called that. So it does happen where quite a lot of books have the same title.
But I think, as you and I were discussing, there's so many more creative ideas, then we don't have to take somebody else's title, like make it your own.
Yes. Yeah, you don't. No, that's exactly right.
Oh,
there's always an angle. Yeah, but that's why it's fun. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm not sure if writing a book is the same as screenplay, because when I used to write screenplays, you write this and you have a working title, and then when you write the last sentence, you're like, this title makes no sense. I need to go back and change it, right? So even if we have working titles in our head, that might not be the final one that we have, right?
Yes, because when you start your first draft, that process might take you, 30 days, like in a boot camp like mine. It might take you 3 months, like if you're doing one-to-one work with a book coach like me or someone else. It might take you 6 months, a year. It can, that first draft can take, some people take 10 years and it's never become a book. They need to move. But yes, whenever you start, you will pop in a working title and a working subtitle, just to kind of give it a bit of a frame up. And it might end up being the book name, but usually by 3 months, 6 months or whatever down the track and through editing, you definitely will change it around. You might ask friends and family, does that make sense? Do you understand what that means? What do you think? So the work, people get caught up on that title, but you don't need to. It can it will iterate throughout the process.
Right. And I think an important thing too is, because I'm not born Canadian, so some of the things that I would have called a working title, if I have to do it in Canada, it might not have the same reception as it would elsewhere in the world. So that's something to keep in mind too, now that everything is so global, with a global distribution network and things like that too, right?
Oh yes, yeah, and that's why you also, your editor will ask you, do you want Canadian English? Do you want American English? What do you want? You have to think about where it will be distributed. Who your main readership is, or whether you want to go with where you come from. So and so that's right. And so some words, certain countries don't use or don't understand, and so mine are usually American English, because that's where, Amazon and all these big places are mainly distributing the book. So the main buyers are in the States. But you do have to be mindful of different words and different funny things,
Right. So there's
Yeah.
no use in most of the words, favorites, and I'm just thinking the American English there.
Yeah, because where were you born?
In South Africa. So it's
Oh,
British English.
okay.
So
Yes, it's British
Canada
English.
is easier. Right.
Yeah, that's right. So there's a lot of views that are sadly sort of just been thrown to the side. Yeah,
Being done with.
that's right.
Exactly.